The Frozen Room, and the Woman Who Wouldn't Wake. Third-person style, simple basic English. 800 words, full of mystery and emotional hook. The storm outside had ended hours ago. Now there was only silence, cold and deep silence. Leon moved carefully through the old alien ruin. His boots crunched against frozen dust as his flashlight danced across the walls. Everything was covered in ice, broken machines, dead panels, and one massive door at the very end of the corridor sealed, shut and glowing faint blue. He checked his scanner. Energy readings still active, he whispered. After all this time? Lean wasn't a soldier. He was a mechanic from Earth, trained to explore old tech sites for the Galactic Reclaimers, Union. But this ruin felt different, older, forgotten on purpose. When he placed his hand on the door, it didn't need a code. It opened on its own, releasing a soft breath of frost. The air inside the chamber made his breath freeze mid-dot, and there in the center of the room was a glowing pod. Oval, glass-covered, surrounded by frost. Tubes and wires still hummed softly, powered by something deep below. Inside the pod, she was there, a tall woman. Blue skin, elegant markings on her forehead. Her silver-white hair floated gently in the cryogel. She looked peaceful, beautiful, but cold, like a statue made of ice. He stepped closer. A stasis pod, still running after all these years? The display blinked red. Core failure in progress. Life support at 12%. Leon's eyes widened. She's dying? He didn't think. He reached out. His gloved hand brushed against the glass, and the pod hissed open with a slow, tired breath. The freezing mist poured out. She fell forward, right into his arms. Her skin was like ice. Her body barely moved. But she was alive. Just barely. Then it happened. Her hand twitched, and her fingers long, graceful, frozen wrapped weakly around his dot, and she whispered. So warm. Leon froze. Her lips hadn't moved much, but he heard it. Soft, tired, almost lost. He stared at her face. Her eyes fluttered, struggling to open. A pale glow appeared in her pupils. She tried to breathe, but her body trembled like it couldn't remember how. Then alarms blared. Security lockdown engaged. Chamber sealed. The door behind him slammed shut. Heavy bolts echoed through the floor. No, 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 Leon muttered. What did I trigger? He looked down. She was still holding his hand, still trembling. Her head rested against his chest. Her skin slowly changed, just a little, like the color was returning. Leon knelt down, gently laying her against the side of the pod. Stay with me, all right? Just keep breathing. The pod's lights dimmed. The entire room started to warm slightly. She opened her eyes fully, this time, and looked straight at him. Her voice was still weak, but clearer. You are not like the others. I'm human, he said softly. I found this place by accident. She blinked slowly. No accident. You carry warmth. That is rare here. What's your name? Leon asked. She stared at the ceiling as if trying to remember. I do not know. A memory flashed behind her glowing eyes. Pain, stars, betrayal. Why were you locked here? He asked. Her fingers tightened around his hand again. Because I changed. Before he could ask what that meant, the floor rumbled. Something had activated deep beneath them. She winced. They are coming. Who's coming? Leon asked. She looked at him, and something in her eyes had changed. No longer weak, no longer confused, afraid. My prison has opened, she whispered. And the ones who built it do not forgive. The chamber lights flickered. The floor trembled beneath them. Leon stood protectively in front of the alien woman, heart racing. She was still too weak to move on her own. But her eyes, those glowing, ice-colored eyes, were now fully open, alert, scanning. Remembering Dot, she looked up at him. "What year is it?" Leon hesitated. "It's galactic year 6129. She went quiet. "That means I've been asleep for over 4,000 years," she whispered, her voice hollow. Leon stepped closer. "You really don't remember anything? Not even your name?" She shook her head slowly. "Only pieces, cold stars, screaming voices, and hands dragging me here." Then, more softly, "I remember they were afraid of me." Leon's eyes narrowed. "Afraid? Why?" She looked down at her trembling hand, the one still gripping his. "I don't know," she said. "But I know this. When I touched you, something changed inside me. Something warm." Suddenly, the room's wall groaned open. A narrow exit corridor revealed itself, lined with dim lights and covered in frost. "We need to leave," Leon sighed, helping her stand. Her legs shook, but she clung to his shoulder. "I feel heavy," she murmured. "Like my bones remember gravity, ... but not motion." They stepped into the hallway, her bare feet leaving faint steam prints on the icy floor. The deeper they went, the darker it grew, until only Leon's flashlight remained. Then a new voice echoed, cold, mechanical, male. "Subject Eirena has left containment. Protocol 9 initiated. Retrieval in progress." She froze mid-step. "Eirena," she whispered. "That's my name. You remembered?" Leon asked. She nodded slowly. "It was given to me, not mine by birth, but it feels familiar." Suddenly she stumbled. Her knees buckled. Leon caught her. Her skin was colder again. "What's happening?" he asked. "I don't know. When I'm far from you, my energy fades. But when I'm near," she touched his chest, over his heart, "I feel ... alive." Leon didn't understand how or why, but she was telling the truth. It was like his body was radiating something her own needed. Maybe heat, maybe something deeper. They reached an old lift. Leon jammed a panel open and rewired it. Sparks flew, but the lift groaned to life. As they waited, Eirena looked out into the shadows of the hallway. "They built me to end chaos," she said softly, "to freeze stars that burned too wild. But I refused. I didn't want to destroy. I wanted to understand life." Leon turned to her. "So they locked you away for that?" She nodded. "I was changing, evolving. I felt emotions. And they said feelings made me unstable." "And now?" Leon asked. "How do you feel now?" She looked at him, eyes wide. "Warm," she said again. "For the first time in my existence." The lift doors opened. They stepped into a vast underground hangar filled with dead ships, broken androids, and faded banners. Suddenly, a sharp sound echoed behind them. Footsteps. Fast, heavy, not human. A voice shouted in a deep growl, "Return. The iceburn, or be frozen with her." Leon spun around, eyes wide. A tall alien figure in heavy armor marched forward. His weapon hummed with energy. Eirena's grip tightened on Leon's hand. "That's Commander Vale," she said quietly. "He once served me. Now he hunts me." The commander stopped a few steps away. "You were a queen," he growled at Eirena, "but your mercy made you weak." "I changed," she said firmly. "I chose life over death." He pointed his weapon at her. "Then you'll die with the humans you protect." Leon stepped in front of her, shielding her. "You'll have to go through me." The commander laughed. "You? You are nothing but meat and warmth." But before he could fire, Eirena stepped beside Leon and raised her hand. Frost crackled in the air, but then faded. Her powers fizzled out like weak smoke. I I can't summon it, she whispered. Vale smiled. You've grown too soft. But Leon wasn't afraid. He turned to Eirena and gently pressed his palm to hers. Her eyes widened, and suddenly ice exploded from the floor beneath Vale, freezing his legs in place. Her power had returned. Not through rage, not through connection. Vale roared and shattered the ice, but it gave them enough time. Leon grabbed Eirena's hand. Let's move. As they ran toward an old escape pod in the hangar, alarms echoed all around them. Just before they launched, Eirena looked at Leon again. You make me something new, she whispered. Leon smiled. Let's find out what that something is together. And with a roar of ancient engines, the pod blasted upward into the cold stars. The stars outside the escape pod looked peaceful, but inside, everything felt tense. Leon guided the controls, his hands steady, but his mind racing. Eirena sat beside him, quiet, her glowing eyes staring into space. Her fingers still felt cold in his, but she didn't let go. They had escaped the ruin. But they were not free. Where are we going? She asked softly. There's a hidden salvage station, Leon replied. Old Earth ship buried in sand. My team found it months ago, but couldn't unlock the core. Eirena nodded slowly. I think it might remember me. He looked at her, confused. How? I feel echoes of it, she said. That ship and I may share the same creators. Leon frowned. The people who built you? She nodded. If they left anything behind, it will be there. As the pod jumped into hyperspace, the screen blinked red. Incoming transmission. Unknown source. Leon pressed ignore, but the signal forced itself through. A black screen lit up with a burning red insignia. A voice followed. Cold. Familiar. You can run, human. But the Iceborn belongs to the old order, and she will return to it dead or alive. Eirena's expression didn't change, but her fingers dug slightly into Leon's hand. They won't stop, she whispered. As long as I'm alive, they will chase. Leon looked her in the eye. Then we give them something they're not ready for. After hours of silence, the pod landed in the deep sands of a forgotten moon. Jagged cliffs, orange sky. Nothing but wind and wreckage. Leon led her to the buried ship. Its frame was rusted, half covered by dunes. The Earth flag still marked its side, faded but proud. Inside, dust floated through stale air. He activated the generator. Lights flickered to life, dim and pulsing. Eirena stopped at the center chamber. She touched a black wall. It shimmered. Project Eirena. Status. Classified. Origin. Earth-Terran Genetic and Energy Weapon Initiative. Leon's eyes widened. You were built by us? She didn't speak. Her face showed only pain. The files continued. Designed to stabilize stars. Later weaponized during the Collapse Wars. Subject gained self-awareness. Rejected control protocols. Deemed a threat. Locked in stasis under Glacian Vault. Leon stepped back. You were a weapon made to freeze suns? Eirena nodded slowly. But I wanted more. I wanted to understand warmth, not destroy it. She touched the screen again. My memories. They were locked too, but being near you, something inside me is changing. Suddenly, the ship shook. Outside, a dropship landed. Leon grabbed a rusted rifle. They found us. The old ramp lowered. Armed aliens in dark armor spread out. At their center, Commander Vale. Step down again. He raised his voice. Give me the Iceborn, human. You don't understand what she is. Leon stepped forward. No, I understand exactly what she is. She is a bomb waiting to explode. Vale growled. You think you make her feel? What happens when her emotions burn out of control? when her heat burned stars instead of freezing them? Eirena stepped beside Lion. No more running, she said. Her eyes began to glow brighter. Blue light shimmered from her arms. Frost ran across the floor, but it didn't freeze. Instead, it bloomed, like ice turning into light. I'm not just a weapon anymore, she said. I'm becoming something new. Vale aimed his blaster, then die as something broken. He fired. Leon moved to block her, but Eirena moved faster, freezing the air between them into a wall of shimmering light. The blast hit it and vanished. She raised her hands slowly. The wind outside stopped. The sand turned to glass. Vale's army began to panic, but she didn't attack. She only whispered, "Leave or melt into memory." Vale hesitated, then stepped back. For the first time he feared her. His soldiers retreated. The ship lifted off. Leon looked at her. That wasn't just ice. No, she said softly. It was balance. She reached for his hand. When I am near you, I don't need to destroy or freeze. I can protect. I can feel. Leon smiled. Then stay close. We're just getting started. And in the quiet of the old Earthship, under stars both warm and cold, the human and the iceborn stood together, not as enemies, but as something new. The ancient Earthship groaned under its own age. But for now, it was safe. Leon and Eirena sat quietly in the dim control room. A soft light glowed around them, not from any machine, but from her skin. Her icy shimmer was now warm, gentle. Like moonlight on snow. Eirena spoke first. I feel like I'm dreaming, she said. Like this isn't real. Leon looked at her hand resting in his. Well, if it is a dream, he smiled, let's not wake up yet. The ship's core was slowly activating. As power returned to the mainframe, more old files lit up. Project Starfare, log entry. 72. Observation subject Eirena's core has begun shifting from cryo to plasma state energy. Her exposure to human proximity appears to cause emotional flux. Unpredicted outcome. Subject's powers now react to emotional connection, not commands. Eirena stared at the log. I was right. They studied my feelings like a disease. Leon read further. Wait, there's more. If emotional bonds grow, her containment will fail. She will not be weapon. She will become unknown. Stars will either fear her or follow her. Suddenly, a warning flashed. Cosmic wake detected. Massive gravity surge inbound vessel. Class Black. Leon's stomach dropped. That's not Vale. Eirena stood. No, that's them. Leon turned to her. Who? She stared through the ship's window into the sky above. The ones who created me. The ones who feared me when I began to feel. They're not soldiers, not machines. She looked at Lion with serious eyes. They're architects, star shapers. And they've returned to erase me. A strange ripple echoed in the sky. The stars bent. And then it appeared. A ship so large it blocked the sun. Its surface was like liquid metal. Silent, watching. A voice echoed in their minds, smooth, emotionless, terrifying. Unit E01, you have diverged from protocol. You are to be collected and reassembled. Do not resist. Eirena's hand shook, but not from fear. From anger. I will not return to the cold, she said. Leon looked at her. Can we fight them? No, she said softly. They bend light. Shape gravity. My old power can't stop them. Your old power, Leon repeated. But not your new one? She looked at him. His warmth had changed her. His touch had lit something deeper inside. Not frost. Not heat. Balance. Emotion. Creation. I need to try something, she whispered. But I need you. I'm not going anywhere, Leon said, taking both her hands. Their fingers touched warm, and cold blending. Her eyes began to glow white-blue. The ship around them began to hum, as if responding to her change. Above, the architect's ship opened a pulse cannon. Reality rippled in waves. Leon's voice was steady. "Whatever happens, I'm with you." Eirena closed her eyes. She didn't summon ice. She summoned feeling. Joy, pain, fear, hope, everything the architects had erased from her. She embraced now. A bright, living light burst from her body, shooting into the sky like a flare. The architect. Cannon fired. The beams collided in the upper atmosphere. And then, silence. From the dust above, debris began to fall. The architect's ship had vanished, no explosion, no trace. As if it had been pushed out of reality itself, Leon helped her sit down. "What did you do?" She breathed hard. "I didn't destroy them. I just showed them what I had become." "And what is that?" he asked gently. She looked at him. "I'm not their weapon. I'm not their project. I'm just me." Outside, the stars shined again. But now they pulsed in rhythm with the light inside her. Eirena wasn't what the stars feared anymore. She was what they waited for. The wind outside, the ship was calm. But inside, Eirena was silent. She stood at the edge of the ruined hangar, watching the stars, her hands glowing faintly with blue-white energy. The power that once only froze now flickered with something gentler. Leon sat nearby, repairing a transmitter, glancing at her from time to time. "You haven't said anything in hours," he said softly. "I feel them watching," she replied. "Not the architects, not Vale. Something older. Something that waits." Leon walked over. "We beat what came before. We'll handle what's next too." She looked at him. "That's why I'm afraid." "Why?" "Because if something happens to you, I don't know what I'll become again." Suddenly, a high-pitched hum filled the air. A light blinked on Leon's tool panel. Too late. A trap had been set. In a blink, 3 armored shadows dropped into the hangar. Faster than thought. One hit Leon in the chest, knocking him backward. Eirena shouted, but a freezing field wrapped around her. She tried to resist, but the cold didn't come from her. It came from them. A figure stepped out behind the attackers. Commander Vale. "You thought the architects were the end?" He growled. "They were nothing. I serve something deeper now." He walked to Eirena and looked her in the eyes. "You abandoned the cold. You betrayed your purpose. But you can still return, if you let the human go." Eirena struggled against the freezing cage. "Touch him, and I will bury you in ice." But her power sputtered. The trap had learned from her. It didn't stop her power. It stopped her emotion. Made her numb. VAEL turned to Leon, who was bleeding but conscious. "You're the fire in her veins," Vale said. "So I'll do what should have been done long ago." He raised his blade. Eirena screamed. No, a blast of wild energy exploded from her chest, but it flickered and died halfway. Vale didn't flinch. He grabbed Leon by the collar. "You die. She returns." Balance restored. He lifted the blade and stopped, because Eirena had done something he didn't expect. She closed her eyes and smiled. "You still don't understand," she whispered. "I don't draw power from warmth alone. I draw it from choice, from love." Vale turned in confusion, and Eirena's heart ignited. The cage around her shattered in glowing shards. Her body floated into the air, hair lifting, arms open, light pouring from her skin. She reached out toward Leon. "Come back to me," she said. And the blade Vale held melted in his hand. The light wrapped around Leon's body. He gasped and sat up. Alive. Breathing. Safe. VAEL stumbled back. This is impossible. You were right about one thing, Eirena said, stepping forward. I'm no longer what I was. You thought I'd become a monster without control. She stopped, her face calm. But I've become something else, something the cold can never be. She raised her hand, and with a single pulse of light veil, vanished into mist. No scream, no fight, just gone. Leon stood slowly. His legs shook. She caught him. I thought I lost you, she whispered. He touched her face. You never would. Even if I died, I'd find you again. She laughed softly. You humans say such strange, beautiful things. They embraced, her glowing light fading into a soft shimmer. Hours passed. They sat beside each other in the ship's central room. Leon broke the silence. So what now? Eirena smiled faintly. Now I think the stars wait for us. He looked confused. She reached for his hand again. There's one final thing I haven't told you. What is it? She looked into his eyes. I was built to outlive stars. But when I held your hand, I wanted to live a life, not a lifetime. The stars above burned quietly. For the first time in her long, unnatural existence, Eirena felt peace. No alarms, no warships. No voices in her head calling her a weapon. Just silence. And Leon, asleep beside her on the quiet floor of the Earthship. She watched him breathe. His chest rose and fell slowly, each breath full of life. She placed her hand lightly on his. Her fingers weren't cold anymore. They were warm. Alive. The ship's systems had gone quiet too. Nothing chased them. No more warnings. The architect's ship was gone. Commander Vale was gone. Even the stars no longer watched with fear. Only wonder. Eirena walked to the control panel, her bare feet making soft steps across the metal floor. She ran her hand over the controls. The ship responded not with blinking red lights, but with a soft hum. It knew her now. Not as a subject, but as its companion. Behind her, Leon woke. He rubbed his eyes. You didn't sleep? I don't need to anymore, she said, smiling gently. But I still like watching you dream. He sat up, grinning. You're becoming more human every day. She tilted her head playfully. Should I be worried? No, he said. But I might be falling in love with something far beyond human. She walked to him and sat down. I don't know what I am anymore, she admitted. But with you, I feel real, not made, not programmed, just me. Leon reached out and took her hands. That's all I ever wanted. Suddenly, a soft chime echoed from the control screen. A transmission, but not from enemies. From the stars themselves. The system translated the message. Signal from the core nebula. Energy fields detected. Frozen systems returning to warmth. Eirena protocol no longer feared. The cold queen has evolved. Life welcomes her. Eirena blinked slowly. They see me now. They accept you, Leon said. She turned to him. No, you accepted me. Before the galaxy ever did. They stood at the doorway of the ship. The wind outside was soft now, warm. The frozen world was melting slowly, gently. Life returning to it, just like her. She reached down, and grass broke through the frost-covered ground beneath her touch. Where will we go now? Leon asked. She smiled. Wherever your people once planted flags. I want to go there, she said. I want to learn what Earth really was. What warmth means, what love is. I want to feel everything. And I'll show you, he said. All of it. She laughed gently. Then I have one request. Anything. She stepped. Closer, close enough that her breath mixed with his. Don't ever let go of my hand again. Leon didn't answer. He just held her tighter. The wind lifted gently behind them, and together the human and the once iceborn queen walked into the new world, hand in hand, not as weapon and wielder, not as alien and man, but as two souls who had found each other in the vast frozen dark and melted everything that stood between them. The END.